Marriage Matters. So today we're going to do Marriage Matters a little differently than what we usually do. We've got some questions here from our marriage group. It's called Marriage God's Way. And it says questions that can transform your marriage if answered sincerely. So there's going to be a lot of tear jerking today. Let's try it out, right, Mr. C? Okay, so the first one, you better be, will be: will your children wish their marriage to be like yours when they see ours?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'd say 95% of it.
Yeah.
I think there've been a lot of great examples. We've been very intentional about what they see, what they learn, what they hear. We do a lot of praise and worship with them. We do a lot of Bible stories with them. We watch, what's it called? Study book? What's it called?
Storybook.
Again, we're very careful to try our best not to argue in front of them, to try our best not to have any negative things happen when they're around.
Okay.
Life happens sometimes, but I think I do believe that a lot of their experiences are seeing us hugging, seeing us kissing, seeing us cuddling in bed, seeing us all sorts of things. So
see, that's where I was going with that. I feel like that is the essence of our marriage, because including them in those praise and worship times and stuff like that, those are inclusive things. But you don't realize that when children are growing up, they see the things that are not quite so obvious to us. As an example, like you said, like when they knock on our door, they'll see us spooning or cuddling or watching a movie together. So those are the things that they will take away as, oh my gosh, like when I grew up, I saw my mom and dad when, if they're in their bedroom, that's what they do. Or when I grew up, when my mom and dad are in the car, they really love singing together to the song that they loved. Those are the things they take away as what a good marriage is, as opposed to mom and dad are making us watch storybook, or mom and dad are making us read a Bible story. You know what I mean? Like, those are things that we're making them do.
They enjoy watching storybook.
No, they do, but I'm just saying that, like, that's not okay. All right. So number 2, is your marriage preaching to people around you? When people see us, do you feel like people are like, you know what, that's the marriage I want to have one day? Or they're like...
I think that's a 2-part question. I think the first part is when we do stuff like Marriage Matters, which obviously is for the benefit of anybody who's within a marriage, who's trying to like do it God's way. We really try and share our journey, share our mistakes, share our triumphs, to try and get everyone kind of to a point where we understand without God we can't do it, so we gotta let Him take over. But in terms of when they see us not in this setting, I think maybe more recently, yes. Only because I think because of our journey, when we're out, we've also started learning how to enjoy each other more, how to have more fun, how to kind of like, even if we're not having a great time, just have fun with each other, that kind of thing. So I think that definitely kind of shines out. Whereas previously, before all of the Christ-centeredness and all of this,
was not there.
Definitely not.
Non-existent.
Like, I think everyone would have just been like,
wow, is this marriage?
I don't want that.
I'm gonna have that.
So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Is God happy and glorified about your marriage? I don't think all the time, because I can be back to my flesh sometimes. I can not say such nice words. I can be disrespectful toward him when I'm very angry. I'm not going to lie about that. But I think what's different now is that I'm quick to call myself out. I don't have to have him say, but you were wrong. This was messed up. I can easily get to a point where it's either I humble myself or I call myself out and then I apologize. So I think in most cases, God sees the progress, that he sees my heart. So in most cases, yes, but in some, I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm not glorifying God with my words and my thoughts sometimes. Let's go back to the worst fight we've had within this God foundation, this God or Christ-centeredness, the worst fight we've had.
So again,
do you think during that time God was proud of you?
I think that what God was proud of was us being able to discern that the fight was incorrect in the first place. He'd be proud of how we handled it after the event and maybe not during.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
No, but this is the thing. So what I'm trying to get you to understand is that nobody's marriage, even pastors and preachers and and these people who've been married for 40 some odd years live every single day,
Imperfection.
right, in perfection.
Yeah.
We it's impossible. No one
Yeah.
has that perfection.
Yeah.
So once you start thinking God is going to rate your being proud or not proud based on your human perfection, you've lost the plot.
I see.
Right?
Okay, you know what? You're a
It's-
glass full kind of guy, not a glass half empty kind of guy.
no,
So
I'm a understand what the word says.
no,
about,
I hear you. I'm
about
just
everything
no, but
kinda
look,
guy.
the same way people have different depth perception in how they look at things, it's the same way we are interpreting these questions very differently. I'm looking
100%.
at like, I mean, this
No,
is like the third
so
one.
I've
you
got my
answered
God.
differently.
I've got my God.
I do too, but I'm also looking at every single point. Kuti, you know, there's some moments that I myself personally am not proud, and I'll be like, wow, did I really just do that? Did I just do Vanessa 3-4 years ago? You know, so okay. Are you always seeing your spouse as the problem of your union and seeing yourself as the saint?
So I think that's a very good question. I think it's very easy as humans to fall into this trap, or as when we're in the fleshly realm, to fall into this trap, because we're so used to the ideas of everything we want and how we want it, that it's easy to point fingers when it's not working the way we perceive or the way we desire, or our expectations are not being met. What helped with this for me was there's a book on self-centeredness by Andy Womack. Just it's like a very short book, 35-page book, but it really is filled with so many gems.
It's only 35 pages. I'm gonna read it because I do not like reading, so it's right on my lane.
To do with selfishness, right? And I think a huge part of that is being able to identify that when things aren't going well in marriage or in relationship, it is very self-centered to immediately point fingers at your spouse and think they're always or think what are they doing wrong, or focus on that. Because the funny thing in marriage is, in terms of seeking improvement and growth, right, you will find that if you focus on yourself inwardly, and say, what can I do better? How can I serve? How can I love? How can I be better? And work towards those things, you'll find that, if your partners also subscribe to the same sort of God's love and all of these things, you should find that they will pick up on those things and actually alter the way they have been also, so that things start working better. I think the challenge is when we continuously just point fingers at one another, and want to blame the faults of the marriage on somebody else. I think that doesn't work, because we can solely control 100% what we do as individuals. I'm not responsible for Mrs. C's actions or her reactions, or how she feels all the time. But what I am 100% responsible for is what I do, what I say, how I love, how I choose to react. So if there's a problem in the marriage, and I see that there's a problem in the marriage, the first questions I'm asking myself are, is there anything I've done? Is there anything I can do better? Have I taken time to communicate to find out what's going on? Have I listened when being communicated to? All of these sorts of things.
I actually love the way you put it, because I think a lot of the times as women we get to these stages, we have different stages in like how we approach those scenarios when we're like dealing with our marriages, where we first maybe identify the problem as who started it, and sometimes that's how we can start, or sometimes we identify it as who's actually now amping, the whole conversation, and like what's the word, when you're actually like instigating the matter. So I love how you put it, where you have like a self-introspection pause, and you say, okay, but wait a minute, like this may be happening right now, but Inini, like what am I contributing to the situation? I think that's something that after a lot of self-introspection with myself, I got to a point that I realized there's a lot of things that even if I wasn't wrong, sometimes there's something that I would have contributed to the situation And once I understood that and I identified that within myself, it made it easier to also, even when I'm wrong, or even when you're wrong, like I can come and say I'm sorry, because I'm like, but wait a minute, like we didn't get here by you, we didn't get here by yourself. Does that make sense? Like we didn't get here by yourself, or we didn't get here by myself. Because like like that saying of saying kuti, there's always two sides of the coin, and it's a true fact. Kuti, you will have your thoughts and feelings and ideas or beliefs as opposed to mine, right? In regards to that situation happening and what would have been transpiring. So we can't be like, wow, ndiwa tanganya yacho. And even if, let's say, Dinda Wudena, I can't sit here and say, wow, and carry on. But then you look at me like, yeah, but you started. I may have started, but what are you doing to progress the conversation or the argument? What are you doing to contribute for it to be a calm and loving, environment? Let's say that we are nehasha, and I think in most cases as women we do that, where our emotions get ahead of us sometimes, and instead of thinking it through, okay, what I'm about to say may also be, number one, disrespectful towards my husband. Number two, what is my pitch? Like like, let's say, let's put context. What is the context, or the tone in which I'm approaching my person? So it can be you are really hurt about something, right? But that hurt doesn't mean then you disrespect your husband. That hurt doesn't mean then you forget the tone you're using. Your husband is not your kid, right? So if you're talking in that undertone, to undermine his office, like I think we need to always remember, and I'm saying women because I speak as a woman, right? Let's never forget their office, and that office it's got a plaque on the door. It's director, or okay, husband, right? So his office needs to always
It's a
be
serious office. I have a serious face because we're talking about a serious office.
I've got a migraine, so I'm like trying to deal with this light around us. But like, yeah, so if you respect his office, even when you are hurt, even when you're upset, it's so important to still humble yourself. The word says, kuti, Anzi, it talks about how like wrath can be caused by your tongue, right? Let's go through Proverbs. You'll find a lot of that. So let's continuously be women, or okay, people who are married, who remember, even when we're talking to each other, no matter how much we're upset.
An unkind word stirs up wrath.
That's why he's there. There's Mrs. C and then there's a Mr. C. Thank you, baby. So like, yes, exactly. So let's not do this thing where we're like trying to pick at the issue, even if you're not wrong, right? To stir it up more. And that is like classic 101 babe thing to do, like a chick thing to do.
And I think in the marriage context as well, like once we start maturing in Christ, you start to realize that there's no winner in your conflict at all. Like whoever you think started, whoever you think is at fault, whoever you think is, for as long as one of you is not happy in your union, there is a joint problem. And that joint problem needs a joint solution.
Let's be careful what comes out of here, because it builds, it breaks. And there's an analogy that I gave the other day to these women that we had over. And I said to them, guys, like when we're talking to our husbands, like, are we sowing the right seed? Because it's like we may be saying, so you're doing this, you do that, right? When we're saying you do this, you do that, that is the seed you've planted in that garden. Every day or every other time you complain, that's your water. And when the season's over, we're now harvesting, that tree's grown. And all the fruits and the leaves and everything that's coming out of that tree is everything you implanted those words. So there's a fruit of unondinetsa, there's a fruit of ndoja, there's a fruit of, you know what I mean? So you're now reaping your own harvest, your own seed. So let's be careful how we speak to each other. Like I know it can be very hurtful, the things that they do or the things that we do, but let's be very cognizant of the fact that what we're doing, that seed time and harvest period, when you're harvesting, you will get that. You get what you put in. Yeah. Let's go on to the next question. Sorry, unless you wanted to add something else, baby. Okay. How much sacrifice have you put in this marriage in order to make it work? I sacrificed my body. know how many kids this guy wants from me? He wants two more. I mean, guys, I'm turning 35. Where are we? We're in September, October, November, December, January, February, March. 6 months.
And my Lord said, "Be fruitful and multiply."
Do you know how old Eve was? Eve was young. That Adam was young, bro. She
You're
was
young.
like 1 week old, and they'd already eaten the fruit, and they were busy.
I don't know in what world you think you're not young. Anyway, how much sacrifice? I think, guys, like there's been loads. Without, I don't think you can have a healthy, happy marriage, God's way
No.
kind of marriage without
Without
sacrifice.
Marriage is sacrifice.
You know, we spoke
Yeah.
about no, marriage is love.
No, I mean, like,
So-
the entire thing is about you dying to self. That is that's what I mean. That's
Yeah.
the sacrificial part.
I think to sum it all up, we've spoken a lot over the episodes about how you have to die to self and how you have to serve your spouse first before your own needs. You should be always thinking about what can I do for them versus me. So yeah, if you're gonna do it God's way and the way He prescribes, you know, husbands, love your wives like Christ loved the church. Women, respect and honor your husbands. All of that involves a lot of sacrifice, and the main sacrifice is me saying, I don't matter. God's instructions matter most.
Yeah, you need to remember what Christ did for us. I think when you remember that, putting that into context, which okay, wow, God had one son, and He was like, no, I want to save everybody. You go down there, sacrifice yourself on the cross, you know, be crucified for their sins. Like, can you imagine how much He had to give away? Like someone who was so perfect in an imperfect world to give us that person for us. And then we're like, well, no, we need to remember that. And then everything falls into place in understanding what sacrifices in a marriage or even in a relationship. Are you always thinking and threatening your spouse with divorce and separation? I used to be the queen of, I'm done. I want a divorce. I'm not going to do this anymore. And it was very selfish. Like Mr. C said, come on, babe, we're not there anymore. Baby.
Been through some things.
You have. I'm sorry. No, look, at the time, I think like our spiritual growth was not to where it is now. So the days that I feel like I feel very tested by Mr. C, I'd be like, bruh, I don't have to put up with this.
Commercial break. Sorry, we're back. From my perspective, anyway, I think that as much as I may have in the past felt those things, reached points of extreme frustration or confusion, or I don't know, you know, just that breaking point where it's like, you know what, I'm not so sure that I want to be in this situation. You know, what am I doing? So on and so forth. As much as I felt them, as much as
What?
as much as
You felt like leaving me? What?
As much as I felt them.
Am I hearing this right?
As much as I.
You can repeat as much as I felt like it's a broken record, boo boo. Okay, as much as that. Sweet, sweet, sweet.
As much as I.
Friend, we heard that part. Can we get to the punchline?
All right, we're getting there. As much. As much as I felt.
No, I'm
as much as I felt them, I did not act on them, or I didn't say it out loud.
I never knew. I didn't know. I was in the dark.
And I think the not saying it out loud point was important, because I think one of the major things that our wives require is security. Right, and the security is not only financial security but emotional security. So the second you have problems in your marriage, and then you're also not doing marriage God's way, and then you start throwing around, well, you know what, I don't have to be here. I feel like I can just leave you and be with somebody else. So, do you know what I mean? I think the damage you are causing, especially because females operate more from an emotional point of view, is gonna be pretty difficult to repair. So men, I'm all for being open and honest with your partners, telling them about things that are difficult or whatever. But I feel like if you're trying to have a productive, long-lasting marriage, those are not words that should be uttered.
In those instances where one of the spouses is really deeply like mate, right?
Mm.
How does the man, because it's usually the men that are not very vocal, the men that are not very emotive in terms of like how to express their emotions. How can you tell the guys out there, okay, mate, when you're in the situation where your woman is making you feel like, when I say they will feel like the grass is greener, I'm speaking on the man's side because our culture has made it seem like you can be a Christian and it's normal to be in a polygamous relationship. And we're not speaking based on saying, no, you shouldn't be doing that according to the Bible. You shouldn't, Anditi. But people who are actually in this situation watching this right now, babe, and they have a situation where they're considering saying, look, my one wife is doing this. I'm now considering walking onto the greener pastures as me. Like, how do they talk and communicate to the wife who's there right now, who doesn't have to then hear what pana mining? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Okay,
like, how do you communicate to me? I need to chill. I need to respect your office. All those things as a dude in a loving way.
I think the first thing again is we need to first understand, and this is a very multifaceted question, but we need to first understand where the breakdown in the marriage is, and where the breakdown in communication is. How have you gotten to the point where I feel that you are so out of line that the grass is greener before we even get that far? Because this is what I'm advocating for. I'm advocating saying if we are both subscribed to God's way of doing things, right, then we shouldn't even be having that conversation in the first place, right? Because once you make divorce or small houses or whatever, once you even bring them up and become and make them an option, right, you have opened that door yourselves. Take some time to think about it.
What are you guys doing about your marriages? Are y'all going to bed without kissing? You gonna kiss me tonight? You gonna spoon me tonight?
Those are standard things. Anyway, all right, cool.
Better.
Catch you later.
Mr.
Bye.
and Mrs. C.